So, what is a smart mirror? Well, essentially, it's exactly what it sounds like, a mirror that's smart. Well, not exactly that type of smart. Yeah, more like that type of smart.
Essentially, what it is the computer screen behind the mirror, making it a mirror and a very interactive display for you to use.
So, what's unique about our smart mirror? Well, first, I just want to say smart mirror isn't a new piece of technology. It's been around for a little while and other companies have made it, but ours is homemade, connects to your phone and even touchscreen, as well as has a custom interface that we programmed ourselves.
All right, so let's talk about the planning process, a very important thing in any project. Now, putting the mirror aside, we really didn't start our planning until August or September. That's a little late for a project that should take a whole year, right? Well, we did slack over the summer, but we made a comeback. And Mr. Barrett knows that because we have the product here to show you today. It went from finding dimensions to finding screens, and all in all, it just took about a few months to actually do the code and then a few months to actually build the mirror. So we'll get into that later on.
So to start, we really just watched YouTube videos of other people doing similar projects and Googling things to get an idea of what we wanted to do. And just to show you how far our plan really came, this is the mirror we have now. And this was the original frame that we ordered that we thought we were going to be able to make it work with. Just there you go. So after continuing to work on the plan and realizing the parts we have now aren't going to work, we created a new parts list.
All right, so let's talk about budgeting, a very important process that helps us actually build the mirror. For starters, the mirror actually ended up costing us more than what we expected. So we expected around $300 to $400 of estimated cost, and it ended up being around $700. The reason being is, for starters, there were many mistakes throughout the way, and we kept expanding our ideas. So as we expanded our ideas to get bigger, the price also got bigger. And when we decided to add, I don't know, touch screen integration, sound, we ended up spending around a lot more money than we were thinking. The budgeting actually went pretty smooth. We got all our parts in time. Nothing really happened, but then there were some other problems that we'll talk about later.
So how do we raise the money? Well, simply, we asked our friends and family. We sent out a proposal to mostly family, and within 2 days, we received over $750 in donations for our project, which gave us a little wiggle room in our budget, which we ended up needing plus more. All right, now let's talk about everyone's favorite part, the software and the programming. And if anyone in the audience has ever written code before, you know it always works on the first try. All right, nice. It's finally done. Let's go. Can't believe it. It took so long.
Mother.
All right, so in all seriousness, the code was not an easy task, and I ran into a lot of problems along the way. It's written in Python on a Raspberry Pi, as you can see here. But so, why'd I write it in Python? Well, me personally, I have the most experience in Java and Python, and I wanted to do it in something that I already knew and I knew worked well on the Raspberry Pi. The main interface was written with a library called tkinter, and that's what allows it to be interactive. But trust me, there are many libraries and many different programs written, one of which uses the weather API, and that's what gets you the weather at your specific location. Another works with an app called Box, which is how you upload photos to the mirror. So there's just a lot of things going on like that in the background that allow it to be as useful as it is.
All right, so let's talk about the manual assembly of the mirror. The most fun thing, the code. Anyway, when we're going through this mirror, it took a pretty big process to build. So you can see this nice, luxurious wooden frame. Yeah, that was manufactured by Roche Bobois. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Anyway, so the IR frame is the thing that actually makes it touchscreen. And what's cool about the IR frame is you can't see it because it's really thin. It's stacked on top of an LCD, which is also stacked on top of a mirror. So it actually gives this illusion that it is a mirror, but there's actually a screen behind it, and it's all touchscreen. I can demonstrate that right now. You can see the volume buttons moving. There you go. That's working right there.
All right, so let's talk about what each of the parts actually do. Come on, bring it in a little closer. All right, you see this thin little black strip right here? That's the IR frame. Okay, so Sami already gave you the rundown about the IR frame. It's what allows it to be touchscreen using infrared sensors. Now, this is the wooden frame. pretty simple. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's just 2x4s and some framing pieces put together to hold everything in place. This is what does most of the heavy lifting in terms of the actual screen. It's a monitor is really all it is. This, the little mini computer, this is what holds all the software and code that actually runs on the screen. Now, can we just take 1 second to appreciate this cable management? I mean, come on. Everything's tucked away in the sides. It still looks nice from the back. I mean, yeah, maybe we could cover it all up, but that would just be covering up our hard work. Now, another important piece is a surge protector. It doesn't look like much, but it's what all the power runs through, and it keeps the mirror from breaking. All right, so first, let's talk about the problems with the code, because there wasn't many of those at all. Finally, it's 4 a.m. It's finally done. Good, nice, okay. No, but in all seriousness, there were so many problems with the code, we could sit here and talk about it all day. To start, I want to talk about the fact that I wrote all of the main code to start on my main computer and then had to transfer it all over to the Raspberry Pi. And after writing about 500 lines of code, I found out that it isn't very easy to transfer code from one computer to another, which I should have thought about before, but I just didn't, and it was something that I learned from my mistakes. Another big problem I had was I spent 2 to 3 days writing a program that worked with Google API, which, let me say, wasn't easy to use, which allowed you to upload photos from your phone and download them onto the program. But I found out later on that Google API doesn't work with the version of Raspberry Pi we were using, so all of that code was a waste. So overall, the code was a difficult task, and there's a ton of different programs that are written all working together to make this function. And there's still some things like the Spotify API and the voice recognition that don't work properly, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later.
Next, I want to talk about the touchscreen. Originally, we were not going to think of an IR frame because we never thought of an IR frame. So we were thinking, maybe we'll do a stylus. But as Steve Jobs said,
who wants a stylus?
Yeah, who wants a stylus? So we decided to man up and do the research ourselves, and we found the IR frame and led us to how we are today. From coding to building, there's a multitude of different problems, and there you go. Problems we really just had in general were mostly assembly. So I'll start with this. We got our mirror in, we got all our parts in, everything was good to go. All we have to do is really just cut the mirror. And, well, after I got it cut, I was walking back to the car and I tripped on a certain person's bolts on the floor.
He broke the mirror. Like, how do you even do that? Trip and fall on bolts? Really? Really?
Not so good. Another issue we had was actually integrating our cable management. Caden kind of did a really good job showing it to you guys earlier. Yeah, so cable management was a really big issue at the beginning of the whole process, and that was easily solvable, besides my legs being clumsy and breaking the mirror. But I'm not the only one who broke the mirror.
I broke the mirror. Yeah, so after assembling the entire thing, I decided to use Windex to clean it off, and something in the Windex ate away at the mirror film and destroyed it, essentially. So then we had to find a solution to a new mirror.
So this is actually the third mirror we had because we are clumsy people.
So after Sami broke the mirror and I now have broken the mirror, I guess we're even. And our final solution was to essentially use the rest of the Windex to wipe away all of the remaining mirror film, go on Amazon, order new film, and learn how to apply window tint. And that's how we have a mirror here today. So overall, this project wasn't easy.
But we had a lot of fun making and learning about it.
And finally, we're here to present to you our final product.
The eye mirror.
No, dude, stop saying that. We're gonna get sued.
I didn't see you there. All right, so let's talk about our little mirror over here. So you can see, looks pretty normal right now. I push this button, boo, smart mirror. All right, smart mirror. Time, date, weather. Three most important things you need in any system you have. You have your quotes at the bottom. You got your song name, your voice recognition, volume, Google Interactive System, and settings button.
All right, so first let's start by going over to settings. So in the settings, we can change our time zone to these many different options, and you can always add more. You can also change your current location, and that will update the weather at the location that you're currently at. You can also toggle the quotes on or off. So say you don't want to feel motivated today for whatever reason, you can go ahead and turn your quotes off. You can also change the text color to anything you like. Again, more options are always able to be added. So here's green, for example. And then finally, one of my favorite features is setting your background image. So you can set it as a still image. And these images are also linked to a box link on your phone. So you can upload as many pictures as you want that will all be synced here. Or you can shuffle the images. And this will have it on a rotating cycle every 5 seconds, I believe. All right, now let's talk about the best, the favorite, the Google Chrome feature. So essentially, it's exactly what it sounds like. Pulls up a Google Chrome tab, and now you can do whatever you want. You can put it in the corner. You can make it bigger or smaller. You can search for YouTube, Netflix, Spotify, whatever you want. Do whatever you like. And if you want to get rid of it, you just tap away. You want to bring it back up, tap the button again. And then again, you can move it wherever you want, resize it however you want. And yeah. All right, lastly, let's talk about the two features that sadly never got finished. So we do have volume control if you are going to watch a YouTube video, Netflix, whatever, and you could still play songs off of a web browser. But our Spotify integration, like right here, where you could control it straight from the home screen, never got finished because we never had time to actually learn how to integrate it with Spotify. It's a pretty difficult task, actually. But these buttons are still here just for future integration and to show off kind of what could be done. And then also voice commands. There was just issues using the Raspberry Pi with voice recognition. But again, in the future, that's something that could be added where you basically turn it on or off, and then you could tell the mirror, change the text color to red, and it would automatically do that instead of going into settings. Or you could even say like, open a web browser, search YouTube, whatever, stuff like that.
So you're going to ask yourself, how are you going to actually type things in the web browser? Yes, you could probably touchscreen them. That's not cool. But at the time of making this video, this is not done yet, but it will be on presentation day. And the way you do it, boom, laser keyboard, guys. All right. So this thing is actually really cool. It actually uses lasers and registers. It's pretty innovative. And I think it's a good addition that we decided to add last second.
Guys, I think the mirror is saying something. No, I'm just kidding.